Hello, everybody. It's Dennis and Andy, your buddies that review movies and now getting into doing more comic book reviews. And this time you saw it, Absolute Batman #1. Batman.
Yeah, they're reintroducing Batman into a new universe. It's called the Absolute Universe. So we're
Think
kicking it off
Ultimate
with the
Universe.
brand new Batman.
Yeah, so think Ultimate Universe. That's what DC's basically doing. They're launching Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, all with different twists.
It's the
So
Trinity.
basically,
Yeah, it's the Trinity. They're trying to say it's not. They didn't come out and say it was like the Ultimate, but after reading it, it's the Ultimate Universe, just in
oh
DC.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So basically, this Batman was not born to wealthy parents. He's not a billionaire or whatever he is. Both parents didn't get killed. In this Batman, his mom is still alive. His dad did get killed in his younger years. And they touch on little things like, you know, going to a movie later and stuff like that. Um, they're at his dad, and this is in a flashback. His dad and Bruce and other school kids are at a zoo for the day, and that is where his dad bites the bullet, no pun intended. And Bruce basically learns about, bats. That's kind of how they tie it together instead of the bat flying through a window. And there is a difference with Alfred in this too, isn't there, big guy?
There is. So Scott Snyder is creating a whole new, it's a very similar origin in a way, but they're trying to make it different. So he doesn't have a butler, he doesn't have money, he's an engineer, and he obviously, his butler isn't his butler. He actually is an MI6 agent. So Alfred is an MI6 agent who doesn't know anything about Bruce and is on assignment. So, it's a quite a bit different from that perspective. Commissioner Gordon was commissioner, but is now mayor of Gotham, and it's in the middle of a bad crisis of crime. There's gangs, and they're basically taking it over. So it's pretty much like LA right now.
Yeah. And Alfred comes back. He gets called back to Gotham where he's lived before. He has a safe house and stuff from his handlers because there's this new gang in town. And basically, uh, he's Alfred is tasked to get intel on this gang. He's not supposed to interfere with anything, but he's also given the lowdown on this new character that popped up talking about Batman, and is told that I think he's told he can engage with him, if I remember right. It's been about a week since I read it. I'll tell you this, guys. I do more of the art stuff. So we got the book, as I showed you, did buy it, but it's easier to show stuff on screen like this. This shot where it says Absolute Batman, the Zoo, part 1 of 5, um, it looks like it takes up half a page. If it only took up half a page, I'd be like, okay, no, it's a 2-page spread. That drives me crazy. Maybe fans like it. I don't. I'm old school. If I flip to a 2-page spread, I'd rather have seen a 2-page spread if it's just going to be a some type of image with the title, not even the credits. How about not a silhouette of a gun, but you know, cool shot of Batman? And I get it; it ties into the story, but still, I was just like that. Um, so here we get to see, Alfred's coming back to town. Obviously, you don't know it's him. He's voiceovering stuff in the captions about Gotham, and then there's the reveal when he takes his helmet off. My name is Alfred Pennyworth, and I'm here to do some bad things.
His daughter lives in town, and obviously
Yep.
they're strange. She wants nothing to do with them. And they try and show how bad Gotham is because he really hates the city. He leaves his really nice motorcycle out, chains it up, and even the landlord basically is like, I wouldn't leave your bike out there. And when he comes out, chains cut and his bike's gone. And I was like, okay. Well, one of the things that I'll say, and Andy will probably delve into the art a lot more. For me, overall, I thought that was the high point of it. I really enjoyed the art and the coloring on it.
Yeah.
I am not fond of the way Batman is drawn, but he's the exception. I like how most everybody else is portrayed. And I know we're really going to delve into the Batman costume. Even my wife looked at it and went, wow, that is just thick and unrealistic. That's what they're going for. And they're supposed to talk about Bruce Wayne and, he doesn't have money and there's working class struggles that they're going through. And yet it's really not. He just doesn't have all of his money. There's really not a lot of struggling. They're not, struggling to pay bills. At least they haven't expounded on it.
He's an engineer.
Right. He's an engineer.
Oh.
I mean, and they're usually paid pretty well.
Yeah.
And so he just has a lot less money.
Part of what he does as an engineer is after he messes stuff up as Batman, blow stuff up, whatever, he'll fix it. Art wise, I like Nick Dragata's artwork, always have. Yeah. Frank Martin, I worked with at CrossGen. He's a fantastic colorist. It's good to see him over at DC doing stuff. When this first image came out, everybody was like, oh my God, why is his head so tiny? And look, I get exaggeration in comics. You're talking to a guy that likes Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, but also likes the more realistic guys like Brian Hitch, Alan Davis, stuff like that. But I also like consistency. And in the book, when we establish Bruce Wayne, first you get a sense just going through the book, okay, there's some cartooniness going on here. But overall, I put this into the stylized realism category, not the cartoony over the top category of art. So when we finally get to Bruce, we go to a gym, Croc's gym. They drop things like that. This is not Bruce fighting. I think they want you to think it is, but it's not. It's just a patron at the gym, a friend of Bruce's. This body type would be great for Bruce. And then we see him, and at this point, you can tell the he's huge. But throughout the book, he is drawn consistently this big, but the difference is I think maybe he drew the cover first because these proportions aren't as bad as on the cover. His head is still kind of tiny. I mean, they basically got Bruce super jacked out. If you're going to go with this, you see his buddy here, who's also pretty jacked, but for some reason his head's a little bit bigger. Bruce is really jacked out. The thing is, with Batman, and this goes for even any of the heroes, if Bruce is walking around this jacked out, and most people in town aren't that jacked out, and then Batman's on the scene, you would think it wouldn't be too hard to put two and two together of who Batman is. That's the thing with heroes like this is, and in the DC universe, I'll say more than even the Marvel universe. In DC, you go back even when Dave Finch. So we're still talking modern era. Jim Lee, guys like that were drawing Batman. They weren't that super exaggerated. So when he was Bruce, it would just be a guy with a good build. This guy is so jacked though. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe he pulled back after he did the cover and was like, maybe I shouldn't do that, because when we get the introductory shot, where is it? Here. I don't know. To me, maybe it's because he's moving. The head looks like it's about the same proportion as the cover, but it just, I don't know. It doesn't throw me off as much. I get more of a Dark Knight, Frank Miller vibe from it. So
I was going to say,
it's the cover that really threw me off.
The one thing that struck me when reading it is it had a very high feeling of similarity to, Return of the Dark Knight. Right. And I think it was maybe done on purpose on it, and which is cool because it's classic. The story to me was all right. It didn't knock my socks off. It's a little bit different. they're trying to create this new universe, and I respect that. But even where it ended off at the end, I was like, okay. When I finish that first issue, I want to flip it and go, okay, where's number 2? I need to get number 2 in my hands right now. This one didn't do it for me. It was like,
No.
okay, I probably not going to pick this one up. I did want to kind of give it a shot just because it's a new universe. And, in the Marvel universe, when they did their Ultimates, that original stuff was really cool and neat. And it didn't have the longevity. It went too far. And it just getting that same kind of feeling from this. Now, I would say if this was a mini series and it was an Elseworld title where that would be it, I'd be like, you know what? I would pick up 5 or 6 issues of this and do it. But it's an ongoing series. Absolute Wonder Woman,
And
absolute
it's story
Superman
arcs.
coming, and I'm just like,
I mean, so the first story arc, I think, is five issues. I assume it'll be collected. I'm like Dennis. I've read books where at the end, I'm like, damn it, where's the next one? I want it now. I don't want to wait a month. This one I
yeah,
got to the end, and it did pique my interest, but I wasn't like, I need it right now. And the problem is, a month from now, I might, when it comes out, I might be like, eh. So I honestly can't tell you. If I get it, you'll find out. Talking about his costume, his cape is different, as you can see. It's not just one big long piece of material, it's sectioned off. He can use it, he can whip it around parts of it and use it like a weapon, like you see here. I think that's pretty cool. I'm also getting a Tim Sale vibe from this stuff. Um, So that's kind of cool. The different stuff he can do with the cape. He is definitely brutal, but he doesn't kill. So there's that. He's obviously well trained. The thing that gets me is, and you didn't know it from the preview stuff, it wasn't until you read the book, maybe it was said online and I missed it, is the big symbol on his chest, which in the beginning everybody was like, oh my God, it's so big. What's the point? Blah, blah, blah. Well, it's actually the blade of an axe. So he pulls the handle. I don't know where he's pulling it from. It's pretty long. It's not fitting in one of those pouches. It's not strapped to his leg. So it's got to be somewhere. So he pulls the handle, clamps it on, it looks like, to the bottom of the symbol and pulls the symbol off. And it becomes a very sturdy, I assume, made out of steel axe. And I guess the problem I have with it, and I know what you're going to say, but it's comics, suspend disbelief, is the fact that it's this huge plate of metal going across his chest. And okay, it shouldn't move then. And here it's drawn flexible. So maybe it's my OCD. Whenever I drew this character, I would make sure to make that flat the way it's supposed to be so you can buy into the fact that is this big piece of metal that is the blade of an axe. The other thing too is, look, Iron Man has big metal strapped across his chest. Right, he's in a whole metal thing of armor. And his movements are restricted because of it. Well, if you've got this big slab of metal going across your chest, it's going to restrict movement and stuff. So it's hard for me to buy into, and I just don't think it's that cool. I mean, do you think it's super cool? I mean, like when you
so
got to that page, let me ask you this, Dennis. I didn't know it was an axe until I read the book. Did you?
no.
Okay.
So
So when you got to that, what did you think?
So here's what I thought, and I'll say the parts that I like. The thing that they're trying to do with this bat suit is they're trying to say, look, we've got these cool exaggerated wings. The ears come out and they're removable and they're used as weapons. The plate comes off and that's used as a weapon because it's kind of realistic from the standpoint that the suit isn't just for show. that it has functionality besides just belt pouches for the batarangs and the bat bombs and, you know, shark repellent and whatever they're in there. I love the fact that they went down that road. It's just like when he pulled it out, it looks like a pair of pliers, like long needle nose plier type things that clamps onto it. That means you have to clamp it close because it doesn't look anything different. And you slice it. Okay, that's kind of neat, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. At least the wing extensions, the ear things, they made a lot more sense. So I was not blown away, although I appreciate what they're trying to do in making the suit useful. I just think they could have done something better with it.
Yeah, and then apparently he has these spike things that pop up too that he can utilize. Because in this big shot you see it. You know, I think Nick's trying to get some manga influence in here as well. I can see it uh in the work, and I think that's cool. And I think that could be why he's pushing Batman so far, is because they do that in manga. But also in manga, the faces are more exaggerated and stuff, and it's uniform throughout. Whereas this, I just get the feel of he's exaggerating Batman and nothing else. Um, you know, Alfred comes onto the scene after everything's taken care of. You know, he confronts, you know, Batman here. Batman, you know, takes him down, and that's that. Then we get some backstory once again, talking about Alfred's doing the narration of you know, who is the Batman and such. And he even says, "So who are you really? Bruce Wayne?" Question mark. You hide your tracks well. So you know, Alfred's a great MI6 guy to figure this out. Talks about an invention Bruce made as a kid. You know, more backstory, how the old man gets it, his old man and stuff. And I got to be honest, I think this first issue to me was a little slow. I think this origin stuff would have been cool spread over the 5 issues.
Yeah, see, I was actually going to kind of touch on that because,
Flashback
like I
stuff.
said, it was Alfred was kind of the exposition dump to open this, and I think that the origin. I think I kind of agree. If their first story arc is 5 issues, that would have been cool just to have pieces of it put on there, and
In
so
every
later on you'd
issue.
be like, "Aha! I like that." Versus what they did by giving us everything up front. And because it did, there was some action, and the action scenes that are there I enjoyed. But again, it wasn't a book that knocked my socks off. And we don't want to give away, we're not going to give away the ending and stuff. If you're a Batman fan, and I know there's quite a few of you that I talk to out there, you really enjoyed this book and you really want this new type of a universe, I think it's going to be up your alley. I've also talked to a number of you who really don't like this at all. And I just don't expect it to be the same Batman because they are trying to do something different in this universe. I'm always willing to give anything a shot. And, but anyway, why don't we give it our CGC rating on what we thought? You can go first.
Okay, so once again, when number 2 comes out, I really I'll decide then if I get it or not. Um, I would I would like, I've already said I'd like to have seen all the flashback stuff about Bruce as a kid and his dad dying spread out over the 5 issues. And then you could have done more Batman stuff in this. And I'm not even saying extend the fight with the bad guys, just more stuff. I mean, you could have, you know, that's not his first rodeo. Just it could have been anything. Takes out a mugger or whatever, you know. Um I'm going to go with uh boy, I'm torn. Um I'll go with the 6.5 on it.
Okay.
Um yeah, I'm going with the
That,
6. Are you
that,
that?
that is funny because we just did our movie review
Right, I
and
know.
we are 100% exactly the same. I was a 6.0 on Absolute Batman number 1. I don't
Oh, look
know
at
if
that.
number 2 will be in my future. I'm kind of like Andy. I've got my pull list. This was not on my pull list, but the local guys already know I'll probably pick up something new. And, when the new ones come out, I'll look at it. I'll look at my pile and see all the books that I knew I was getting pulled. And if it's a really light week, I might do it. But
Right.
it didn't knock my socks off, but I didn't hate it. So we're kind of in the middle of the peaks and valleys of I know the
I'm
people that have read it
curious.
so far.
I will say, if you've read it, we would love to hear your review. Just you can grade it between 05 and 10 like we do, or you can be lengthier in your comments, because I haven't really looked online. I should actually do a Google search now for Absolute Batman reviews, because I have no idea how well it was received. I know how well it sold.
Yeah, it
And I'm
sold
not
pretty well.
talking I'm not talking numbers. I'm talking sell through at stores. I visited a few different stores, and it sold really well for them. Okay, that's great. It's a number one. You probably had speculators in there that are never coming back for two. And then you had guys like me that bought it that, might be back, might not. So proof will be in the pudding with how the sales numbers do.
Well, I do
So,
know as of right now, they've got 4 versions of the third printing coming out. So Nick's got a 1 in 25 variant. And this is one of the reasons why I also don't like it. There's a regular third printing card variant. There's a 1 in 25. And then there's a foil virgin variant. So even with the second and third prints, they're doing the same thing that they did for the first. We're reprinting it, but here's all these different options. So it'll inflate the number 1 numbers. The question becomes, and this will be the key factor, and maybe we'll do a follow-up on it. When number 2, if it's a good series, they may only lose 20-30% of their number 1 numbers. If it's a mediocre series, they may lose half their numbers, and I think that'll be the big one.
Yeah, but the way comic shops order, they can't. Number 2 is always going to drop. The true test is, I think it's number 4, because by the time 1 comes out, by the time 1 is out and they're getting reaction from people, that's when they put the orders in for number 4.
No, I get that, but I'm also saying in the fact that there's third printings, second printings are already ordered. There's third printings, so
I hear you.
Time will tell. So I will give DC kudos for trying to do something different and energize their base.
There you go. 1 printing, Kor-Drath Volume 2, The Awakening, will be coming your way when you back this book. Kor-Drath is a mixture of Conan, Dungeons & Dragons, Game of Thrones, He-Man, all that great stuff. Muscled barbarians, hot chicks, going to battle, going to war. Kor-Drath and Adriana need to fight to save the Shattered Reach. Guys, go check out the campaign. The link is in the description below. Climb into 60,000 where we'll unlock another stretch goal. What is it? You need to go to the link and scroll down and find out for yourself. I will say our friend and fan favorite Irene Strakowski did her variant cover. We love it. We added it to the campaign along with the black and white version of it. They both will come in the collector box tiers. And if you already backed it, you'll be getting them as well. And you can order the color cover separately. The black and white is only available in that tier. So guys, go check this out. The link is in the description below. We will catch you all later. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
Long and prosper.
An ancient evil awakened to slaughter his family. A mythical quest was revealed. Treacherous perils await.